Hi, in this video, we're going to walk through the syllabus together. So if you have one, why don't you pull it out, and it would be helpful to have that at your side, so you can look at things as we go through. Uh, Let me pull up, share screen here. Okay, so this obviously is a course about Paul. I'm the professor, and you can reach me either by email or phone. I would recommend that email is probably your best your best form of communication to me. So I say here, this course is fully online. There will be a live class meeting every Monday at 9:15 to 10:20. The session is mandatory, and attendance will be taken. All meetings will be in Zoom or on Zoom. I don't know how you say that. Um, in addition, back up and say, I'm going to send you an invitation for a Zoom meeting. Actually, I'll put it in the announcements. And the ID, the meeting ID, will be the same one we use every week. So won't send out a new invitation. We'll just use that same ID. I'll have office hours from 9:15 to 10:20 on Wednesday. These office hours are just a section of time where you can hop on and hop off, or stay and chat about something for a little while. This gives you I'd say, an anchor to know that at this time I'm available. Uh, However, when you send me an email, I will do my very best to respond swiftly. I need, as the professor, to be receptive and responsive. It's necessary in an online course. So you don't have to wait until Wednesday at 9:15. Just email me for something immediate. And if it's a complicated issue, we can set up a Zoom between you and me. Um, so that might be a better format for what a question or issue you might have. Um, I don't have like a regular time I'm online, so I'm online a lot. I'm on Canvas significant amount of time, but it isn't necessarily consistent. So if I'm going to be on Canvas for a good chunk of time, I will send out an announcement that I'll be available should you need to touch base. Okay. All right. Just bottom line, this course is about the life and letters of the Apostle Paul, as well as his theology. So it's why isn't this moving? Oh, there we go. Okay. Some trouble here. I'm really sorry about this. Just having some technical difficulties. Okay. So you have life, letters, and theology. Life, letters, and theology. Now, this next section is a list of objectives, outcomes And there are three of them. You have the Christian Studies Department, you have IDEA course objectives, and then you have the specific outcomes for our particular class. These two here are general. Christian Studies Department and IDEA. Christian Studies Department is our department, and our department has a number of outcomes. And these were the two I chose that are most relevant to our class. And then the IDEA is the tool of evaluation that our school uses every semester. And I'm sure you've filled out an IDEA before. But this statement in italics, I'd ask you to read it at some point. But it just basically says that, this is the way we evaluate our courses. It will be very helpful, useful for you to do it when we send out an invitation at the end of the semester and so forth. And those are our couple of the ones I pulled out for our class. I think I was supposed to have three, but I really only found two. Now, specifically for our course, we have these 8 objectives. And each of these objectives directly relates, well, let me put it the other way. The assignments we do directly relate to these objectives. So for every objective, we've created an assignment that accomplishes that objective. So first one, and I'm going to read these and not the others. Engage with Scripture through reading Paul's letters. Engage Scripture through reading Paul's letters. We are going to read all of Paul's letters. There are 13 in the New Testament. And we will read all 13, corrected. And so there's an assignment that will take us through that process. Sketch details of Paul's life and ministry, focusing on major events. Be familiar with the literary and historical cultural contexts of Paul's letters, as well as each letter's message and meaning for both Paul's day and our own. So there's, in some way, we're not just interested in Paul, the rabbi who lived in for the first century. We're also interested in how these writings relate to our own present context. Number 4, be conversant over key theological issues raised in Paul's letters. 5, incorporate into your life a significant Pauline concept or practice. 6, demonstrate the importance of the intercultural Greco-Roman world of the first century AD for interpreting Paul's letters. 7, assess the strengths and weaknesses of various scholarly proposals of Paul's life and its significance. 8, evaluate the various issues raised by statements about Paul, or that Paul makes in his letters. And here we're thinking of a project, an essay that reads an important book on Paul and African American readings of Paul. Okay, so the textbooks. Moving on here. You need a Bible. You need a Bible in a modern translation. Number 2, Mike Bird's edited book, 4 views on the Apostle Paul. So important work, 4 views on the Apostle Paul. A third is thinking through Paul, introduction, his life, letters, and theology. There you go, life, letters, and theology. Just to pause, this particular book has some unique in this course. Unlike the Bird book and the Bowen's book, Thinking Through Paul is a book that's going to take us through the content of the semester. Our course is actually keyed to the chapters in the book. So for every chapter, that'll mean a week, by and large. So you really need that book because you'll have quizzes over it. So you need to get it. You need to get it soon. So if you can do anything, get this book first, because it's super important. This is what it looks like, by the way. There you go. Actually, I got all of them. There's this one. And then there's this one, which is the last book on the list, African American Readings of Paul, Reception, Resistance, and Transformation. I'm really looking forward to that book. It just came out at the end of last year, and I think the study is fascinating. It's fascinating. Talking about particularly about how Paul is appropriated or has significance for the contemporary world. All right, so Bird, Longenecker, Still, and Bowens, and a Bible. All right, so now we're going to shift to the course learning activities. The first one is reading Paul's letters. Through the course of this semester, students will read through the letters of Paul. After the completion of the reading, students will first self-report on completion of the reading for the week, and 2, have a discussion about the insights and questions you have with other students. So each week we're going to have a discussion, and it will be around the reading for that week. All right, chapter quizzes. Students will be quizzed weekly over each chapter in Thinking Through Paul. Students will have 2, I don't know why that's 3. Students will have 2 attempts to take the quiz with the highest grade of the 2. That's not very good. Highest grade of the 2, that's better. Taken for the quiz grade. So 2 attempts for the quiz. Miscellaneous assignments. Oh, this is closed book, people. Remember that. These quizzes are closed book. Miscellaneous assignments. This assignment, or this set of assignments, which gets 10%, is a hodgepodge that don't easily fit into a category. These assignments include viewing a film or video and writing a brief response. but it could be more than that as well. Um, it ranges. It ranges from brief and simple to um, um, still largely brief and more complicated. Uh, and you'll see what we mean as we move forward here. It's probably helpful to note that these miscellaneous assignments will be published with the course content for that week on Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon, evening. So it goes Sunday, the content of the course is published. And then Monday through Friday, you have the work to get to complete, and the work will be turned in. The due date or due the assignments have to be done by Friday, 11:59 p.m. 11:59 p.m. So it goes from then from Monday to Friday. A couple of assignments go into Saturday and one even into Sunday, but most of them are due on Friday. A journal. Students will compose an entry reflecting on their learning, and you can look at those. These aren't meant to be like you have to answer them. Like, okay, what did I learn? I learned X. What was the process by which I learned? The process by which I learned was Y. Use these as prompts. Use a couple, use a few, don't use any. I do want it to be a reflection on the learning and how it matters. The learning and how it matters. It's not very easy to read, but learning and how it matters. And this has to be, I want this journal entry, 2 paragraphs, 5 to 8 sentences. And I didn't mention here, but it's going to be fortnightly. You know what that means? It's a British way of saying 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, you'll have a journal entry, and that will be shown on your syllabus schedule. Okay, number 5, the 4 views on the Apostle Paul. This is 15%. You'll write a 7-page summary comprising each of the 4 views on Paul outlined in the book. And you will also present particular criticisms raised by the respondents, it should be. Be sure to provide representation from the 3 responses. So make sure you have sort of a proportional appeal. And then you are going to, in the 3rd point, render a judgment on which view you found most convincing in a conclusion. Related to that, you'll have a discussion over the book with some classmates once that assignment is completed. Household codes and their Roman context essay. So this is the biggest valued assignment. It's our research paper. And you're going to study ancient Roman households and the codes of relationship. Paul in Ephesians and Colossians go through a series of statements through the household codes. So fathers, mothers, children, slaves, these are household codes. So you'll study the household codes in the ancient world, basically studying what is a household, what makes up a household, and so on. Additional guidelines, additional guidelines will be published. Sorry, you didn't see this, but so this is 25%. And it's a 7 to 8 page essay. It's a research paper. And then number 7, we have African American readings of Paul summary and discussion. And we're going to read that book, and you're going to write a 7-page summary of it. And I will give you further instructions. Then lastly, we have exams. There are 2 exams over the information in Thinking Through Paul, and they are open book. That's why they're only worth 10%, because it's open book. So this is 15%. As I said, households are 25%. The 4 Views book is 15%. The journal is 5%. Miscellaneous is 10%. And quizzes are 10%. And the RPL is 10%. So in terms of hierarchy, the research paper takes the first place. And then you have the 4 Views book and the African American readings of Paul book. So at 15%. Okay, so that's that. And you can see the summary here. Scripture, it's not scripture check. It's RPL, reading Paul's letters. It's 10%. Quizzes 10%. 10%, 25%, 15%, 5%, 15, 10. So then you can see the schedule here. So we start right away with our hitting the ground quickly. The first week is not going to be a throwaway week. Typically, we start very slowly into the semester, but in this case, I'm kind of throwing you into the deep end of the pool on the first week. And I want to make sure to underscore that do not use the first week's workload, do not project that out to think that this is the workload every week, because it's not. The first week tends to be, or not tends, is heavy um, because of its necessity. We've got to get on the right foot. So there are two assignments here. The first one is after you read the New Interpreter's Dictionary of the Bible on Paul, you know, as you're reading it, you take notes, and you have to have one note per page. And then the second one is reading Acts, and that assignment is to create a chapter title for each chapter. And so those are the two assignments. They fall under this miscellaneous assignments, again, because they're kind of hodgepodge, but I've gave them to you there. So we have 2 weeks on Paul's life and ministry, and then we jump into the letters, and we end up in Paul's theology at the end of the semester. You know, the policy here, we've got academic honesty, which is a big deal. Students with disabilities, super important. Title IX, super important. Attendance is demonstrated both by your participation in class sessions and also the completion of online activities. So those are the two ways that your attendance is going to be evaluated in this class. Well, that's all I got. And that probably was already too much, but it's over now. And hopefully you feel better about the syllabus. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email. Well, I look forward to beginning this semester with you. Bye. I know. Hi, how you doing? I'm trying to get out of this. Hi. There we go. Don't you hate that? That's the worst when you're trying to get off when you're talking to somebody, and it's like, who can close it first? Like, I want to be the first person to end this meeting. And I feel frustrated if somebody gets there before me. I don't know if you ever feel that way. Well, here we go. See, I'm looking at it now. You know, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the end meeting for all. But I want to do it like I'm not actually looking. Like,